Hey everybody, my name is Myers Corp Cosplay. Today we're going to talk about cosplay and social media. Hey everybody, my name is Myers Corp Cosplay. I've been a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area for around 10 years. I've won a few awards, I've guested at conventions, I've been cosplaying for 10 years, been going to conventions for 15. And today I want to talk a little bit about the fun relationship that we have to deal with as cosplayers between cosplaying and social media, and how they are, to some people, a match made in heaven, and to some people, a match made in hell. So with the advent of social media, we are able to reach out and meet billions upon billions of people from all ends of the earth with all different interests, all different hobbies, and this has helped grow many communities. I think there are many friends that you've probably never met in real life, but you just have met through social media or online gaming and things like that. And that is one of the great benefits of social media. However, with social media comes a lot of people having a lot of opinions on a lot of different things. And that can sometimes be a little tough to deal with, especially when you're a cosplayer, because in the basic form, cosplay is art, and you are putting yourself out there as an artist, showcasing your art, and some people may not agree with your art and may not feel that maybe your cosplay is art. Now, before we get too deep in this, I do want to stress that I am a mid to late 30s straight white male. So I do not know, well, I have a general idea of what others have gone through on social media and some of the negative comments and hate speech and stuff like that they've probably dealt with. I have not dealt with probably that severity of it, so I cannot speak personally about what others have gone through. I can only speak to what I have been through and what I have dealt with. And even as a mid-30s white straight male, I deal with BS comments just like the rest of you, probably, again, not to the degree of some people. So please take what I say with a grain of salt, and please do not comment saying that that someone has dealt with it worse. I probably millions have dealt with it worse than me, but I still think this is an important topic to talk about. So let's talk about social media in the year 2025, where we are now. We have many major platforms for you to choose from. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, and we have YouTube, and we could go into X and stuff like that, but I kind of want to stick with these major four because as a cosplayer, these are the four that I feel have the most benefit for cosplay. Let's start with Facebook. Facebook is probably the oldest platform we're running right now. It has got a lot of people on it. However, it doesn't have as much supply as other platforms. Let me explain. So there's a thing in business and the world called supply and demand. There is the amount of things that are needed, and there's the demand for it. With Facebook, there is a lot of demand there, which means there's people on it looking for things, but there's not a lot of supply because Facebook is the oldest platform out there, which means the generations that grew up on it have gone to other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, etc. So age-wise, Facebook is more of an older platform, which means it has an older demographic. It is not a kids platform. It is an adult, almost to the point of being an elderly platform at this point. So you really have to think about that when you post your content of what people are thinking about. Facebook is also very good at being a very small town type, local type social media platforms. So, if you live in a neighborhood, you probably have community groups and such in the area. So if you are looking to be a big cosplayer in your city, this is probably one of the best platforms to do because you will showcase your stuff to a local network more than, an Instagram or TikTok, which is more of a worldwide type platform. With Facebook, you can also find things like Facebook groups, which can help you find inspiration and community for your different fandoms. You can search Star Wars cosplay groups, and you could find hundreds probably on there with like-minded cosplayers in your fandom. Let's move on to Instagram. Instagram started as a photo platform. It was really started a lot by photographers. They were posting their photography on there, and it became a huge platform. It is probably right behind TikTok, if not the same as TikTok when it comes to popularity. It is one of the biggest when it comes to cosplay. This is also becoming a very community-based social media platform. It is very easy to build a community, build relationships on there through sharing of small tutorials, sharing your cosplay photos, and a whole lot more. With Instagram, you can search your cosplay inspirations on there. You can go to the search bar and type in Spider-Man cosplay or Iron Man cosplay, and it will show many people who are talking about that, showcasing tutorials, showcasing their photos, and a whole lot more. So it is very good to build inspiration and motivation to build your own. Let's jump over to TikTok. TikTok is the newest big platform. It's been around since about 2017, 18, really blew up during the 2020 pandemic. This is short form video at its best. It is pretty much anything you are looking for. This is the algorithm that has kind of changed the world of social media today. So the difference between a Facebook, Instagram versus a TikTok is a Facebook and Instagram started with the community, like-minded, more of an email marketing style. So for example, you would get a whole bunch of followers on your social media platform. You would throw out a post and a certain percentage would see it. So for example, if I had 100 followers, I'd throw a post out, maybe 10, 20 would see it, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. The whole point of those platforms was to gain as many followers as you could because that's how more people would see your stuff. What TikTok has introduced, and the other platforms have now taken this exact same way of thinking, is TikTok becomes an interest platform. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have. If you put out content that is interesting and people like, it will get fed to more and more people. This is important now when it comes to the algorithms because I think a lot of people still think that they have to just get as many followers as you can. No, it all matters about what the content is and how good the content is. If it's content that people are interested in, it will be spread to the people who will want to see it. That's something to think about when you're posting your content. And last but not least, YouTube, the best platform in my opinion, because you can find almost anything here. YouTube is almost becoming a TV station at this point with each individual channels, which is your different creators. Now this is something to think about when you are going to be posting on your your YouTube channel, and that is because the way YouTube sort of categorizes your channel is very important. For example, if you are someone who does woodworking all the time, YouTube will start to make sure to post your stuff and send it out to people who like woodworking. The problem with this, though, is that if you're someone who likes woodworking and then you decide to change and throw in a cooking video, it will not do as well, especially when you've had so much good woodworking content, because YouTube is now kind of considering your channel as exactly that, a channel, kind of like a TV channel. So that's like ESPN doing sports, and then a cooking show. It won't work because the audience is looking for sports, not cooking. Now I could go on and on about other social media platforms, but these are the things you need to think about when you're posting your content and the type of things you're going to be receiving, especially when it comes to comments. Now, when I've posted on Facebook and Instagram, as I said, there's more of a community feel. There is not as much, at least I've seen, negative discord. Obviously, you're going to get it almost on any platform, but I have received actually more negative feedback from YouTube and most importantly from TikTok. And that is because TikTok is it's almost turning into something like an X, where it's more of a topical, like what's going on in the news, what's going on, politically and stuff like that, which breeds that kind of thought process. And people are thinking different ways when they're on different platforms. So definitely think about that when you're posting your content, that you may post the same content on different platforms, and you may receive one reaction on one, and you may receive another reaction on another. So you've posted your content on social media and you've gotten negative feedback. What do you do? Well, there's not much to do, especially if it's something that frustrates you. This is something that every single cosplayer, no matter what they look like, who they are, deals with. Every single one. It doesn't matter how good the cosplay is, you are probably going to run into somebody who does not like it online. And it sucks, but there are things you can do with it. First off, don't take it personal. Don't take any of it personal, because there's probably a very good chance that they're not mad at you. There's probably a very good chance they are not upset at you. They're not frustrated with you. They are simply dealing with their life. And when you are someone who finds someone online who you have no connection to, and you say something negative about a cosplay or any type of anything online, you got to think of what they're going through at home. Like that's got to be a pretty rough life, to think that you're going to spend any amount of your time going out finding complete strangers and crapping on whatever they like. I got that a lot when Fan Expo Canada took a video of me in my original Gambit cosplay, not the new one. And I got slammed on TikTok with every single body shame, attitude. Why are you showcasing this person? The cosplay sucks, etc. All hundreds and hundreds of negative comments. And the way I dealt with it was I made jokes about it. I kept it lighthearted because, again, I know they weren't attacking me. They're dealing with their own things, and this is how they're letting it out. So I did different comments. People, when I first did the card trick, there was a lot of people that were, oh, I can see the string. And I would leave comments of like, well, I tried to talk to Penn and Teller and they just never got back to me. Or David Copperfield sent me a book and I just didn't read it. Little things like that were just like, it's kind of funny that so many people posted the exact same comment over and over and over again. And when it came to the body shaming and stuff like that, I just went, man, I don't think I look that bad, but also, why do you care? Why do you feel it is good to bash someone's body type? Am I the most fit person in the world? No, but come on. And in the end, after hundreds and hundreds of comments and hundreds of replies by myself, Marvel saw the TikTok and they liked it and they commented saying I did a great job. That was worth it. That was completely worth it. So when you get those comments, don't sit there and fight them. Don't comment back, you're an a-hole, and da-da-da-da. It's not worth your time. It's exactly what they want. And if you comment like that, they're winning. So don't let them win. Go about your day, walk it off. Know that you have made it as a cosplayer, because every single cosplayer has dealt with this at least once in their time. However, if you are someone who gets this relentlessly, when is it time to just stop? Well, I don't think you should stop posting your content, and I don't think you should stop cosplaying. However, your mental health is way more important than cosplay, because you can enjoy cosplay for the number of hours that you're cosplaying, but after that, your mental health is still there, and you have to deal with that. You have to go to bed every night feeling this way. So I would say, and there's been points where I've done this, where I've just put social media to bed, and I haven't posted, and I haven't checked comments, and I haven't done anything like that. Specifically, I'm very good at commenting and replying on all of my posts on Instagram. I'm very good. If you share my content, there's a very good chance that I will thank you for sharing my content, because I really appreciate when people share something that I posted. If you comment, I will probably reply to it, because again, you're taking the time to comment on my stuff. Man, I'm just a guy. Like I'm no one important, but you took your time. I appreciate that. On TikTok, however, I started to do the exact same thing, but I realized the amount of negative comments I was getting was kind of way out of proportion between the two. So on TikTok, I barely look at the comments, because there's probably some good ones in there, but there's probably a lot that I just don't want to deal with. And I know personally, if I take in too much of that negative content and negative comments, I'm pretty good at dealing with it, but there are times when it gets overbearing and I just get miserable. And I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy life. I don't want to take in all those negative comments. So realize when you hit your limit that it's okay to put your phone down. It's okay to not look at the comments. It's okay not to reply to anything. If you need to block someone, block someone. If you need to report someone, report someone. And on different apps, there are things that you can report but not report, and you can, especially on TikTok, where you can not see different keywords and stuff like that. That helps to get rid of some of the videos that people may be replying with their own videos. just do your best to hold back just keep your mental health in check, because man, it just gets so rough out there if you take in all that negativity. It will impact things outside of cosplay, and man, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Try to enjoy cosplay as much as you can and leave all that shit on the internet. And last but not least, make sure to do a mental check every once in a while. Talk to people who, you know, probably have your best interest at hand, and see if they've maybe seen anything change in your personality. You know, I have very open and frank discussions with my wife, and I'm like, if you ever see my mental health like really take a dive, please tell me. And I know at that point, I will turn all of this off. I will turn all of these lights off. I will turn this camera off. I will turn off all social media. And I will go dark for however long I need, because in the end, this is a blast. But it's not my life. My life is my partner, my family, my friends. I don't want to be going and hanging out with them and seeing my wife and just being miserable. So make sure to talk to people, and just, you don't have to come out straight and say like, how's my mental health? But like, if they start seeing things, tell them, please let me know. So, because you might be so wrapped up in it, and I've had that too, where I've taken so much negativity in that I just start getting, you know, grumpy about it. And my wife's been able to pull me aside and be like, hey, you need to take a break. And I personally am not a fan of posting mental health, you know, taking off time posts. I feel like I personally don't want to put that into the world as sort of a feel bad for me. And I'm not saying others are doing that for that. Some people feel like they need to make the announcement. I just feel like if I post that, I'm just kind of being a pity party. And again, please do not take that as others are. They do what they want. Enjoy. Do your thing. But personally, I will never do that. If I want to go dark, I will just go dark. And if you're a true friend and you message me, I'll do my best to message back. But if I need to go dark, I will just go dark. So make sure to keep your mental health in check, because that is the most important. So in the end, cosplay and mental health is very important. You know, it is tough sometimes to deal with a lot of negative criticism. There are some people that take it, like I said, a lot more than others. I thankfully don't have to deal with too much of it, but I still do deal with my amount of it. And there is a term that I learned when going to therapy that you know, trauma doesn't have a degree system. So there's not like a level 1 trauma and a level 5 trauma. Trauma is trauma. And if, you know, I'm not saying negative comments are trauma, but that can still bring things out of people. So if someone can't deal with some of it, but some can, don't put them on different levels, like this person's weak and this person's strong for being able to deal with it. If you need to take your time off, take some time off. We'll be waiting for you when you get back. Don't worry. We'll all be excited to see you come back at the best time, because, you know, I've seen some people take some time off and feel like they don't want to, they feel like they're going to get lost and people are going to forget about them. I've said this to people who I've worked with. I've said this exact same thing to people I volunteer with. I hate to see you go, but I knowing that you're at home with a better mental health makes me so much happier than seeing you miserable. So that's it, folks. Cosplay and social media. Again, I could go into a lot more. We could make this a 7-hour video about the different things that you should think about and the different things about each platform you should be concerned about. But in the end, make sure your mental health is at its best. If you want to DM me about anything, if had to deal with something, please go ahead. I'm more than happy to talk about your mental health. I'm not a therapist, but I'm someone who's here to listen. If you like this video, click the link, click the share, click the subscribe, all those things. We got a bunch more of these cosplay videos coming up. Take care, and I can't wait to see what you're going to cosplay next.